Fellas, what's up? Hey, happy Wednesday. I just wanted to shoot you a quick little video from the park while I'm making the rounds and listening to some podcasts and things like that. But I'm listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast interviewing Mr. Money Mustache. And if you're not aware of who he is, I've heard about him, but I've never really looked into it until just recently. And I'm on this like personal finance kick where I'm just really realizing like I have to be super intentional about how I'm spending my money in my business and in my personal life. Otherwise, it's causing so much stress in my relationships, in my life. And I feel like that sense of scarcity that I often have talked about dealing and like really struggling with is based in fear. And that fear is just as a result of not having the knowledge. You know, like once I have a knowledge and a plan about something, then the fear all goes away. So in Tim Ferriss's interview of Mr. Money Mustache, who's actually from Longmont, he talks about retiring when he was 30 years old with his wife, and they were engineers and they made a lot of money in their 20s, but they realized that to retire, that you need to have essentially roughly 25 to 28 times your annual spending, have that saved up, okay? Once you have 25 roughly to 28 times your annual spending in savings, like in the market, whatever the case might be, then you can retire. So first and foremost, I need to go home and figure out what's my annual spending, because I'm not exactly sure. I'm clearer with my spending, like business spending, but I'm not as clear per se with my personal spending. But I bring this all up because I am geeking out about it. I want to know, because I imagine in this brotherhood of men, if you will, there's got to be some of you guys that also geek out on this and are probably a lot more proficient about this, and it's your strength, like your personal finances or finances in general. I want to hear from you guys, whether it be below this video or shoot me a DM. I'd love to grab coffee, because this whole like FIRE movement, if you haven't heard of that, I'm just learning about it too. FIRE as a what's the word? Acronym. Thank you. FIRE being financially independent, retire early. There you go. That's what it's all about, this FIRE movement. And for me, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like I spend so much time stressing about money and the lack thereof, when, you know what, I really do have so much abundance in my life. You know, the fact that we actually just live in the United States and I've got this behind me is ridiculous, right? But that being said, it's like, okay, I need to take control, and through that control can I actually find a lot more peace. And Mr. Money Mustache, I think his name is Peter, he and his wife have just optimized their life for fun, for enjoyment. So they really don't own a car. Well, I guess he owns a car, but he pretty much rides his bike 90% of the time around town in Longmont and going grocery shopping. And they take a couple trips a year, but they know that they are spending roughly $25,000 to $27,000 a year on him and his wife and his son. And that's it. Like, they know that like buying a Tesla is not even on their radar really, because it's short-lived, right? And I kind of get that, because I battle sometimes. I'm like, oh, I want that new iPhone. And then you get it, and a week later, it's like old news, right? So that being said, I'm curious to hear from you guys who also geeks out about personal finance, or is geeking out as you're learning about it, but it's not your strong suit. I just love to have that conversation and chat with you guys, because that's really where I am right now in terms of figuring out my life and creating a lot greater sense of stability, and realizing that, you know, my idea of having 10, 20, $50 million when I retire is just not necessarily, it's not realistic per se. It's just like such an arbitrary number that I threw out there, right? That actually seems overwhelming and daunting, when if I just take 25 to 28% of my annual spending, and I maybe recalibrate that as I grow older and my family grows and that sort of thing, knock on wood, that's very doable. So anyways, I just thought I'd share with you. That's what I learned today when I was listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast with Mr. Money Mustache, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So we'll talk to you guys soon. All right, have a good day. Later.